Welcome to MalcolmPresents.com, a streaming portal into the wonderful world of the universe. It's we do Zoom casting, originally 30-minute shows, which is about everything and anything. In this particular one, the show is Democracy 2.0, which basically is everything that's happening with our government. And my co-host here is a former candidate for Congress, Wayne Bouchard. And of course, I'm Malcolm Berman, who is a co-host. Anyway, welcome.
I'm waiting for the audience to cheer, but there is no audience.
Well, actually, what I want to do, I think, is I want to get one of these little sound boxes. I could do cheers. But I'm gonna be let you do most of the thing. As you know, I've recovered from COVID, but I still have the cough and the side effects of the voice, my voice being strained.
You need a voiceover.
I need a voiceover. I need a sub.
Yeah. So the big news of the day, Malcolm.
Yes, tell me. Pray tell.
Is that President Biden introduced his new budget, $6.8 trillion, and a lot of heavy spending. And he offered a solution to reduce the overall budget deficit by $3 billion over the next 10 years.
3 billion or 3 trillion?
I'm not sure. Can you look that up while I'm talking?
I can look it up.
I thought it was.
It could be. I just hear, right now.
What is the budget deficit today?
Lots of money.
Lots of money. So one of the things that
the budget deficit today.
One of the one of the things that
the federal government spent 6.27 trillion and collected 4.9 trillion in revenue.
So that's do the math for me, will you?
It's 1.38 trillion. No, I don't know. I mean, as I say, I'm recovering from COVID, and I've had that mind fog.
So you have an excuse anyway. It must have been $1 trillion over 10 years, but his number one solution to the budget deficit problem was to levy a 25% tax on people with a net worth of over $100 million, or the top 0.1% of the population. So the concept is, let's have the rich pay their fair share. And also, there was a tax on people that had a net worth of over 400, or a net income of over $400,000 a year. So, and no new taxes for anyone earning less than $400,000 a year. He also wanted to repeal the Trump tax cuts, which were, tax cuts for the very wealthy. So, he suggested quadrupling the tax on corporate stock buybacks.
Stock buyback, huh?
And to raise the overall corporate tax rate from 21.5% to 28%. But these stock buybacks are, it's a scam for the executives and the directors of the company, because they buy back the stock at $25 a share, let's say. They buy back 10 million shares. The stock goes up to $30 a share, and then they cash in on all their stock options and bonuses. So they're making money on this whole game that we're playing, allowing them to buy back their shares of stock on the stock exchange.
Yeah, well, originally supposedly the trickle down economy, which I think it was Ronald Reagan. Basically,
Yeah.
if the corporation make more money, they will take that money and invest it in the companies.
And that we have found to be totally false.
Right, because they buy back the stock.
They buy back the stock. They take these companies and they strip them of all their wealth. These hedge funds and investment companies buy these firms, and they strip them of all their wealth, and then they sell them.
Yeah.
So I heard an interesting fact the other day. I haven't looked it up to see if it's accurate enough or accurate. But the person who was talking about this is a very well-known, nationally recognized person. And he talked about the fact that 3 people in this country, 3 individuals, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, have more wealth than the bottom 50% of the population of the country. And I just think that's deplorable.
Yeah,
there's something wrong with the system that allows that to happen.
Yeah, that's I always feel sorry for Elon Musk, who since he got that thing with Twitter, every other month you say, and now he's only the second richest man in the company, and then all of a sudden the next month, Twitter went up so and so, or and now
he's back up to being the wealthiest man in the world.
Right, they made $1.9 billion last month. Those numbers don't make any sense to me.
Well, the disparity in the wealth is the thing that just boggles my mind. Why are these people? How did these people get so wealthy? Is Elon Musk that smarter and Bill Gates than you and I? I think maybe you and I and one other guy probably collectively could have the same intellectual capacity as somebody like Bill Gates.
But it's not. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, there always was people who could make money.
Yeah.
And there were always people who couldn't make money.
Is it that they're in the right place at the right time? I think there's a certain amount of that involved in it.
Well, there's a certain amount of luck, but there's a certain amount of planning, and there's a certain amount of what was we call it in Yiddish, sechel, brains.
And chutzpah.
Chutzpah is also the nerve to do things. But I mean, if you listen to him, and he's also cut down the budget, what we owe. So I mean, the deficit. I mean, his basic. I think he's done fairly well for the 2.5 years he's been in, or 2 years.
Yes. And he talked about other things, making college more affordable. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think 4-year college should be available to every American kid who wants a college education. We have state universities that are perfectly capable of educating the majority of our population. All these kids don't have to go to Harvard. A couple of them can go to Yale, and a couple of them can go to Rutgers.
Yeah. And a couple of them could go to trade schools.
That's the next item on my agenda.
Not everybody is made for college.
Technology training. Let's get some electricians and technology workers. And the biggest problem in this country today is workers. people, they cannot find workers to work in simple jobs. The like the New York restaurant business is falling apart because they don't have any people to work in restaurants.
Because they're not paying enough.
They're not paying them enough, and there's not as many immigrants. Our the percentage of immigrants has gone way down.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes, and in addition to that, last year, 2.8 million people decided to retire before they were 65, and because they were just fed up, and they retired, and that wasn't planned for. So we have a shortage of workers, and in most of these companies, if you're 60 years old and you're applying for a job, they're not going to hire you. They don't want 60-year-old people. They want 30-year-old people. And I just saw today, who the hell was it, is trying to talk people into it's one of the, I think it was General Motors, trying to talk people into early retirement. So, this leads us to where are we going to go with the debt ceiling? Personally, I think Biden is outsmarting his Republican opponents. He's got a plan. The plan is out there. What's your plan? They don't have a plan.
They don't have a plan.
They've been talking about deficit reduction since they got elected, which was last November.
And actually, Trump is the one that really increased the deficit by far, I think, like $2 trillion.
That was because of COVID spending. It wasn't.
No, not even COVID spending. That was because of the tax cuts.
Oh, right. Between the tax cuts and COVID spending.
Yeah.
So, now the Republicans, they're backed into a corner. What are they going to do? I heard Nikki Haley said today that one of her solutions is to raise the retirement age, but she wouldn't say to what age. She wouldn't say whether she wanted to raise the retirement age to 70 or 75.
Well, I think it's what, 65 now?
I think it's actually 67 when you start collecting full Social Security benefits. Maximum. You max out at 60 at the end of your 67th year, and you can't, no matter how much longer you work, you can't get any more money. But at the CPAC conference over the weekend, there were people there talking about raising the retirement age to 80. Yeah. Is that going to fly? Where the hell is that going to fly?
Yeah.
And, and they talk about Social Security and Medicare. They can't touch Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah, but they can cause a lot of problems, with these 10, Congress people that they could block.
Oh, yeah, they can block anything.
Right, that's the problem.
So what are we going to do? We're going to play right into the hands of Russia and China, right? Our allies are going to say, well, we can't trust the U.S. any longer. They've become financially weak because of this debt crisis. And the dollar the dollar is what? Safe haven. It's the safest asset on the planet. And how does our government, how have we been trying to police all these rogue nations? By putting sanctions on them, economic sanctions, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
I
when
don't know.
come on, Malcolm, I need some help here.
No, you're the expert. I just
You,
co-host the show.
okay. I
I bow to your superior economic knowledge.
you just duck when the fast bullets start flying.
Correct. I know when to keep my mouth shut and listen.
Well, do you honestly think that they could let's just say that the Republicans throw out on the table they want to strip Medicare of some of their benefits and of some of their benefits and increase the retirement age to 70. I just don't think that's a viable political solution in the world we live in today. I mean,
No.
I think a lot of seniors are looking for increases in Medicare coverage. There's no dental care in Medicare. There's no eyeglasses. There's no hearing aids.
And well, the big thing that there's no long-term care.
Right.
I mean, that's as we're getting older. I mean, it's no longer people who are, 65, 70. We're talking about people who are 80, 90 and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
we just had a friend of ours whose mom died. She was 99 and 8 months. Died the other day.
Yeah, I would say that I wouldn't mind living to that age, except when I'm 90. If you speak to me when I'm 99 and 10 months or 8 months, then I would say the minimum should be 100 years old. But anyway, let's talk from the sublime to the ridiculous. What do you think about the Republic or Fox controlling that the January 6th tapes?
Well, I think that here's a better way to look at it. Look at and I had this and I had it all set up in my head how I was gonna present this, and then you just blew the lid off the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, Speaker McCarthy turned down an invitation by Zelensky to visit the Ukraine. And every politician in the world can't get to the Ukraine fast enough to get their picture taken with Zelensky, except Kevin McCarthy.
And why is that?
He's too busy helping Tucker Carlson edit those January 6th tapes.
Well, I don't know about the editing. It was people going there. They were picnicking. They wanted to buy things at the government. They were. I saw what the tapes were. It was families going together. I don't know where they got those. The Democrats or the other got those other tapes of the people rioting. That must have been staged.
Must have been. It was Antifa.
Yeah. But because
Antifa, I actually had a conversation with a businessman. This guy owns a business, and he said these Democrats they're trying to destroy this country. I watched those tapes. Tucker Carlson showed me the real tapes of the January 6th. And I said, come on. These people were destroying the Capitol. Tucker Carlson is portraying a peaceful demonstration. All these people they're going out on a Sunday afternoon picnic. It pisses me off to no end that these people were actually, it's just a deception of the facts, to show these people as peaceful demonstrators instead of viciously attacking my capital. It's my capital, and every American should feel that way. It's the capital of our country, and these people I mean, they were defecating on the walls and breaking windows and smashing up furniture and prying open locked doors. I mean, it was not a peaceful demonstration, and 150 police officers were injured
Yeah,
somewhere.
well, I can't see how people believe those lies.
They do. This guy
I know.
sat there last night, sat there and stared me in the face and told me how I had been misled by the Democrats.
Right.
And he was sincere. And I know this guy. It's not like he's some, fly by night crazy person. He's an intelligent human being.
Otherwise intelligent human being.
Otherwise intelligent. What's the difference between ignorant and stupid?
A psychiatrist.
No, someone who is stupid knows the truth and is doing it anyway. And someone who is ignorant just doesn't know what reality is.
Well, there becomes a term. I don't know if I know what reality is anymore.
Well, and then to have Tucker Carlson showing these tapes and then having his texts published. What did he say about Trump? He was hated Trump passionately for his his attempt at destroying the country.
When was that?
That's in a text. It came out in that lawsuit. That the Dominion voting machine company is carrying out against Fox. They've gotten all this information. It's all been put into the public record. And what else did he say that? That Trump is surrounded by unstable and reckless demagogues, or something to that effect. People like Giuliani. And, one of Trump's attorneys today out in Colorado, Jenna Ellis, was censured by a Colorado judge for her comments on the 2020 election. She had to sign a stipulation that, the comments that I made were false. Otherwise, they were going to take away her law license.
Yeah.
So she can continue to practice law, and she's only been censured. She hasn't been disbarred.
Maybe they should disbar
her. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they should. I don't know.
Okay, now let's get to the important news of the week. Who do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign up with?
Jets.
You think he's gonna become a Jet?
Yeah. Speaking of unstable, and don't you think he's a little unstable now? He's definitely weird. His personality is definitely. I don't know what he's doing.
But can he lead the team to a Super Bowl?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Jets fan. I could care less if he comes to New York or not.
Who
Certainly make a big splash if he did.
Oh yeah. I mean, these guys make so many millions of dollars. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays quarterback, and he's going to make something like 300,000-400,000, maybe even 5,000, $40-50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
For playing football?
No, if I'd known that, I would have, learned how to play football better.
Yeah, well, the problem is with that also, you have to have talent, more talent than being a politician.
Yes, because being a politician, all you have to do is know how
to lie,
to exaggerate facts. How's that?
And make people believe it.
Yes.
But and then there's a thing. I don't know if you follow the thing with the Miami, the Grizzlies player, Ja Moran.
No.
Okay. I mean, he's like a 22-year-old guy making, of course, like, $30 million. And he
Mhm.
seemed like he was brandishing a gun at a nightclub.
Oh, I did see about that, and he put it on Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's not ignorant. That's stupid,
It's a,
right?
yeah, well, I think that, as someone said, because he gained in notoriety mighty fast because he played for a small school
Hmm.
and he really didn't have the media attention that he has now. And the thing is, he's probably he's done so well. He's also a perspective of what reality is.
It's a shame what happens to some of these kids, and then they end up, when they're 40 years old, they're bankrupt. They have no money, no
Yeah,
assets.
well,
Their agents and all these people that are hanging on, bilk them out of every last penny they can get their hands on.
there's one I forget. I was reading the article the other day. He says he promised his mother that he would not spend a penny of what his income was as far as his salary. The only thing he spends is like for endorsement money.
Well, that can be significant.
Yeah, but the salary is like $4 or $5 million a year, which can
Yeah,
be significant also if you're 22, 23 years old,
right.
and you bank that away and you have a fiscal advisor.
Yeah. Well, what happens to some of these young kids, like this guy from the Grizzly? He's a perfect example. Um, is his financial advisor will steal all of his money.
Yeah. Well, what he's done right now, he voluntarily suspended himself for 2 games, but they said it might be a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to see what because the league has not, looked into the situation, and we don't know how illegal what he did, if it was illegal or not.
Mm.
Because there are a lot of states where you can't carry a concealed weapon,
Right.
and it's illegal and it's legal. But the
Mm-hmm.
question is, he was always this quiet kid, and he's 22 years old. How really, has he gone astray, and can he be brought back? Now we got rid of the important news of the day.
Right. Right. I was just thinking, why the hell are we talking about this?
Um, because it's better than talking about the Alex Murdoch verdict.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that.
And then life is so random, you wonder, things happen to people, in the last week there was in California, my part of the woods, this high school kid was waiting for his parents to pick him up in the fast food place,
Mm-hmm.
and someone stepped up and knifed him in the back and killed him.
Really?
He didn't
Why?
know him, and I don't
No.
know yeah, and I think in fact, I think the same guy went to another place and killed someone else. But here he is, I think a 16, 17-year-old kid who is about to graduate high school, like with a perfect A index.
Hmm.
He's dead.
Shame.
Or a situation where this grandmother was babysitting for her daughter, just gave birth to a second child.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she had like a 3, 4-year-old at home. And she
Mm-hmm.
asked the mother, she said her and her husband wanted to go out for dinner. It's the first time since she gave birth. And
Mm-hmm.
the grandmother came over to babysit. There was a fire in the house. The 2 kids and the grandmother were killed
By the fire.
by the fire. Totally random.
Yeah. And that happens every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wonder, what life is all about. And how come, I got privileged to, I just celebrated my birthday. I won't tell you how old I am, but yesterday was my birthday.
Uh-huh.
And we did funny, one of my shows, Tush Twins, was on yesterday. Well, Maxine. And they did
Mm-hmm.
almost like This Is Your Life, Malcolm Berman. And,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I felt like Ralph Edwards, came with his big book. And the year you were born, the top movie was.
Ralph Edwards. No, nobody knows who Ralph Edwards was. I'm
Well,
sure
we know.
I vaguely remember him. This Is Your Life, right?
This Is Your Life.
Yeah. Okay. On that
It-
note, Malcolm, have we used up our time?
we've used up our time, and come to think of it, I just watched the new movie, the what was it, the World Part Two, with the comedy with Mel Brooks.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
I'll reserve my critique of it. I want you to watch it. I don't know if you get a Hulu. I think it was on Hulu or Netflix.
Okay.
I want you to watch it and let me know. I tell you the truth, I was disappointed, but I'll tell you why later. After we see it. Actually, we should review movies.
We should become movie critics.
Yeah. We could call, well, you're not yet Jewish, but it would call the Alta reviews.
Okay. I was
You know,
thinking today they were talking about the films, or not films, the music that was up for Oscars, Lady Gaga, and who was the woman who did the Super Bowl thing? Rihanna.
yeah.
And I'm just driving down the road, and I'm shaking my head, and I'm thinking to myself, but when I was 18, I thought Bob Dylan was the world's greatest singer-songwriter, and and everybody couldn't stand him. And now people are people think that Lady Gaga and Rihanna are these fabulous entertainers, and I can't stand it.
Actually, I like Lady Gaga.
Do you? Okay. On
And
that
if you ever want to be impressed, she has a concert with Tony Bennett.
not
And
one of my
Tony,
favorite people either. Tony
and
Bennett. That was my
and,
mother's.
and I think Tony would just celebrated his 95th birthday or 90 something birthday,
And he's
and
still performing.
and he has Alzheimer's.
Really?
Yeah, and he has a wife that's about 25 years, 30 years younger than him, who basically takes him every place. But he knows every note of the songs that he has sung.
Really?
Yeah,
Still.
you start playing the piano with him, and he'll sing the songs perfectly without losing his spot. In fact, he has a duet, several duets with Lady Gaga, and it's perfect.
Hmm.
And as a matter of fact, when she came on stage, and he introduced her, and he said, I'd like to introduce Lady Gaga, and she said he never remembered her name off stage.
Really?
But when she came on, he knew it perfectly, and she said she almost started crying.
No, that's sad. I had a really close friend of mine who had Alzheimer's, and it was sad to watch.
Yeah, I know. My brother either had Alzheimer's, dementia. He passed away. Actually, it's in May. It'll be a year.
Are we
But
done?
anyway,
Are we done with the show, or
we're done with the show. We're just
okay. Well, I'm sitting straight up, looking at the camera. Come on.
No, we're done. Well, this is all going to be included. But anyway, let's say something for next week. I'll see you next week, kid. Thank you for joining me. This is Malcolm Berman on. Well, it's a show. It's Democracy 2.0, and
we're gonna rename the show, by the way.
No, I don't want to rename the show. It's I had a hard enough time remembering this name. Anyway, you're MalcolmPresents.com, and you can listen to us. Go to MalcolmPresents.com. Go over to the name of the show, and you have all the shows for the past years. I think we've been on 52 years now.
At least 52 years.
Anyway, have a good week. Send my regards to Meg.
Hey, feel better. Feel better. I hope that by next week you're completely out of this thing. Okay.
Hopefully. Speak to you later, kid. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.